Tirana. Position 2, Keith Carling in a Mazda 3 is Bill Attard in the Mazda RX-7. Out of position 4 is Mike Severi in a Tirana. From 5 is Des Wall in a Holden. From position 6 is Rodney Crick in a Tirana. Position 7 is Mr. and Mrs. Crompton's Little Neil. The kid returns. From position number 8 is Chris Clearahan in the Alfa Romeo. From 9, Chris Hones in a BMW. Position number 10, of course, is Russell Kramer in a Falcon. From 11, Tony Herbert in an Escort. And rounding out the even dozen, Jeff Boyd in a Cortina. And we're just about ready to go. Racing pole sitter Bob Tyndall, the man who, of course, won the big Sports Sedan Series at Amaru Park Raceway for the season. Probably didn't receive the recognition that he deserved on that day. He's a consistent campaigner, and it's good to see him with pole here today.
Had a 5-lap preliminary of this race here earlier today, and Crompton came from 7th position on the grid and was in 2nd spot coming out of the first corner. I want to see a repeat.
Could be. Our own 7 commentator Neil Crompton goes racing for you again this afternoon in the Castrol Mazda RX-7. They're ready to start. And they're racing. Wall away quickly, but Carling has won the jump. There's Crompton, a zigging and a zagging as they get off the line. Tyndall, though, picks it up smartly. Carling goes with him, and they're side by side as they take off. We take race cam coming down to the left-hander for the first time, and he goes from 7th up to, what is it, 4th at the moment. Tried to protect that, but he's caught out wide now as they circle out of there. Tyndall, the race leader. An absolute brilliant start, though, from Chris Clearahan. He absolutely just stormed off the starting line, and that's dropped Carling now back into 3rd. And the V8s, of course, will just stretch their legs over Oran Park short track now for the next couple of laps. We wait and see whether tyre wear comes into it. Number 18 going through, Severi. Crompton, 1 back behind them. 2, I should say. Attard splitting those. There he is, enjoying maybe 10 minutes away from the commentator's booth this afternoon.
Clearahan gets through there on the inside of Bob Tyndall to take up the running.
That is a great start, isn't it?
Sensational.
From 8th on the grid to lead it in just over a lap. Chevy engined Alfa Romeo, and Chris Clearahan, former Australian sports car champion, drives it pretty well too.
Set a new lap record in the 5-lap preliminary earlier today, Clearahan. And now that he's out in front, there's no reason why the time can't tumble again.
There's Clearahan running away with this one. He ducks into the turn. Bob Tyndall running in 2nd. Keith Carling now applying the pressure up there in 3rd spot. And they're backed up behind him.
Mike Severi, Bill Attard, and then Neil Crompton.
There's Severi, and there's Attard going through in the Mazda. He'll close down the hill. This is the man they'll all have to beat. And I tell you, there isn't a car out there that'll touch this for straight line speed down the long straight here at Oran Park. Carling, though, coming back to put plenty of pressure, though, on Bob Tyndall.
Keith Carling, of course, got boned 2 weeks ago, last inning out at Amaru, but up and running just as strongly as ever today.
Tyndall, the defending New South Wales Sports Sedan champion in the L-Car Tirana, Chevy engine. Under a little pressure from a pretty trick little Mazda RX-7. It's not the production car based model that Crompton's driving. This one's a lightweight, plenty of fiberglass, space frame construction. Probably 200 kilograms under the weight of the car that Crompton there on screen is driving. So our boy's doing a pretty fair job.
Not bad at all.
Still holding down 6th position on the racetrack. There's the leader, Chris Clearahan. Tyndall follows him through. Then Carling, Severi, Attard, Neil Crompton, car 41. Partly backed, of course, by Foundation 41. That's the Mike Griffin Mazda RX-7. In fact, it's up for sale.
He's left us a classified ad here, Crompton. He's a bit hot. $26,000, including many bits. Inquire at Mike Griffin's corner of the pits.
he has. He's done quite well, because we saw his start at Amaru Park a couple of weeks ago.
Should highlight Mike Griffin's role in this too. Mike, he generously offered the car to Crompton to go out and further his career.
Well, you were just saying that, Pete. We've noticed Carling go through on Tyndall, so that's made life a little more unbearable for Tyndall, because he's just dropped off the pace marginally. And Mike Severi, of course, is the next one to move up, and Attard is not too far behind him, and Crompton gaining on those. Neil's on wheels this afternoon.
Right on the tail of Attard now. And quite a duel. 9 laps remaining. And Crompton enjoying himself, having a steer in this car. And he's built himself a pretty enviable record in the limited number of outings that he's had.
3 starts with 3 wins and a pole position. Back November last year at a club meeting. He followed up with a pretty fine performance at Amaru recently.
Actually, I believe that club meeting started off and wound up with a couple of placings ahead of Ludwig Finau. Let's recap the placings on the Castrol scoreboard. Clearahan leads it. Keith Carling is second. Bob Tyndall holds on to third. Welcome back to Oran Park. Lap 11 of 15 in the Paul Wakeling Holden Sports Sedan feature race here this afternoon. Positions haven't really changed. Chris Clearahan continues to lead. Keith Carling has gone through for second place. This is where the scrap is. Bob Tyndall trying to hold out Mike Severi. Just behind Severi is Attard, then Neil Crompton. And catching Crompton is, of course, Kramer in the Ford. And they had a coming together a couple of weeks ago. And I think that could have been Attard. It was a Mazda anyway, just caught sight of it. No, it wasn't. As they head over and down through the dog leg. There's Tyndall. Mike Severi, Attard, Crompton.
The car you saw disappearing off the side of the screen, Mark, was Kramer. So he was trying so hard to catch Crompton, he's started to put himself out of business.
Ah, that's what triggered it off. Car number 86.
Peter Copeman.
And he has been caught by Kramer, and they've had a little coming together over there, as Gary mentioned.
And they're taking up a fair slice of the track as well.
Coming over to the spot now. Tyndall just backs off momentarily. The yellow flags are out. Oh, they've all gone down through.
Attard's off on the infield.
And they've caught a few on the way through.
Better safe than sorry, I guess. Crompton sneaks past on the outside. He'll argue, of course, that Attard was off on the infield. So, hello, somebody else has run into it. 69. 69's having a bad day.
It's Cook.
Oh, they've stopped the race.
A black and a red.
Yeah.
It's all come to a grinding halt.
Yeah.
Due to the fact the track was completely blocked over the back part of the course. So whether or not they go back to the last recorded lap. So you've obviously had a couple of instances today that would tend to make you think that the sooner they bring in the yellow flag lap and the pace car to clear a circuit rather than declare races or leave obstacles on racetracks, it's going to be a little bit safer for the drivers involved in the category.
So the race has been called 3 laps short of the scheduled finish. And at the time the race was called, Chris Clearahan was leading by a commanding margin over Keith Carling, and Bob Tyndall was battling to hold on to a third spot at the time. And then just in behind the leading division, we had this little mess up, and it all started with Russell Kramer trying desperately to overhaul Neil Crompton in 6th position. Something went awry there. Kramer spun out. We've got a couple of other cars involved in it as well, and then some of the tail enders who couldn't quite cope with what was happening up ahead of them have run into them, shunted them, and the track is virtually completely blocked. And so officials have stopped the race 3 laps short of the finish. And the sports sedan round has pulled up short with Chris Clearahan, the leader, and will presume the winner from Keith Carling and Bob Tyndall. Castrol Oils, ain't oils.